Hi lovely viewers, it's me again, your one and only Mutati Mpundu. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time on my channel, kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel by hitting the red subscribe button down below and turn the bell icon to join the notification squad. Don't forget to like, share and leave a comment. Tell me what you think about this video in the comment section below. I'll be super glad to hear from you lovely viewers.
Beneficial business relationships. That's why we need to restructure the economy. So if there are companies in Zambia who can provide those, the tender should have been given to a Zambian company.
Yeah,
I'm
Doc,
very
caller.
sometimes frustrated.
Let's open the lines. Caller,
Okay,
please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
This is Chagalaboso calling from Kanchivia.
From Kanchivia. Wonderful. Please make your contributions.
Yeah, in fact, my contribution, I just want to ask Ambassador, when the burial of our late president will take place, then the second one is, I just want to find out about why me? Why me? Is it alive or is died? This is the only two things which I just wanted to ask, because I see all these two things on top of the top stories.
Okay, thank you. Let me answer, Doc, with your permission, let me answer. The lines are open. I announce that the lines are open, and we'll begin to answer. I can see the lines are buzzing already. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening. This is Sensho Banda.
Honorable Sensho Banda. How are you, sir?
I'm good, and how are you?
Very well. Make your contribution, sir.
Yes. So basically, I want to just talk about Bill 10 in view of the judgment which was passed by the Constitutional Court, and as well as the ruling which was on the floor of the House. Basically, Zambia is at a critical constitutional and political turning point following these events. And the biggest question is, can Parliament under Nelly Muti, the Speaker, legally proceed without with Bill 7 after the court verdicts? Much as yes, we know that Parliament has legislative power under Article 62, but those powers are not over and above the Constitution. The Constitutional Court in Zambia is the highest authority on constitutional matters, and its decisions are final and binding. Therefore, for the Speaker's claim that the Parliament can continue with Bill 7 because of its autonomy, that contradicts, in fact, Article 1 of the Constitution, which provides that Zambia is a constitutional state. And the judgment was very instructive, to the extent that among the articles which were violated was Article 79, which provides that there was a requirement to have a broader consultation for consultation amendments. And this was missing. And the courts did indicate that actually the process was now void. Basically, for me, this is not just a political disagreement. It is a potential constitutional crisis. In fact, as Zambians, we should have seen these telltale signs. If you remember very well, during the Kabushi and Kwacha by-election, despite the court's injunction, it went ahead to have that by-election. That should have been a telltale sign. Now we are faced with a new standoff that could deepen mistrust in the coming general elections and damage public trust in terms of all the three arms of government. So therefore, I think this is more. It's more about than the bill. It's about our argument. Is about upholding the rule of law and as well the independence of the judiciary. And in closing, if the Parliament disregards the court ruling, we are risking setting a precedent that the judiciary ruling can be ignored, which is a very dangerous way of handling matters. And this also can lead to laws being challenged as illegitimate. And for me, basically, the only lawful and democratic path forward is to hold Bill 7. In fact, the church mother bodies did pronounce itself today to say this process must be stopped in accordance to the ruling of the court. Basically, we must respect the court's ruling, protect judicial independence, and ensure that any constitutional reform is done transparently with a full public consultation. So for me, Zambia is a constitutional democracy and not a parliamentary dictatorship. So therefore, ignoring the constitutional court ruling could destabilize the entire system of checks and balances. I think it's incumbent upon every Zambian to safeguard our institutions and follow the law and protect the credibility of our democracy, even as a country, even as we go to the 2026 general elections. I thought I should just give my word on that score. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Sensho Banda. Very candid and clear thoughts. The church today, the Council of Churches in Zambia, the Zambia Conference of Catholic Bishops, the Evangelical Fellowship of Zambia have also issued a very, very strong statement where they've urged the president that there should be a complete withdrawal of Bill 7. Nothing should be hanging. And that the process that should be embarked on is as proposed by the Constitutional Court, something that is extremely transparent, extremely clear, inclusive, and it should be driven by our people. That was the statement from the church. I still have more calls coming in. Professor, you'll allow me, let's allow some calls, and we see if we can take in the calls and hear the views of people. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Hello? Yeah, hello. Ambassador Mwamba, this is Samuel.
Samuel, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from within.
Yes, Samuel, make your contribution. From within, America, yes. UK, I've got guests from Italy, I've got guests in Lusaka, in South Africa. So when you say within...
Okay, I'm calling from Abuja.
Wonderful. Make your contribution, sir.
I'm telling you. Yeah, so Professor Kasonso, how are you? I know I can't hear you because you're
using the phone, but let me look for him. I put him here so that you can see him. Professor, you are being greeted.
Thank you so much for the warm greeting from. I have heard that you are from within, and it's Abuja. Mm-hmm. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Greetings to you.
I like the points you're putting across. A few weeks ago, I called in Ambassador Mwamba's program. I was saying to him, I went on a trip trying to talk about the knowledge economy. And when I heard you talking about Council of Advisors, I'm like, yeah, now this man knows what he's talking about.
Yes.
For myself, Professor Kasonso, I earned my stripes as well in economics. I did a PhD. So my PhD was on knowledge economy and how the economy functions with the knowledge economy. Now, coming back to the Council of Advisors you were talking about, this is exactly what we need. Like in the mines, we need to have councils of advisors. At ZDA there, you have councils of advisors. And then these councils of advisors meet at the top of the pyramid. That's how economies move, because you tend to have singular policy making that trickles down to the rest of the economy, and everything else at the bottom of the economy aligns with what you have from the councils of advisors. That's how a knowledge economy is, because each sector has got that knowledge base. So they are able to advise and put across policies that should govern the nation. The moment I did not see that from Hakainde when he was talking about 10-point plan and the rest of the things, I knew the guy was going nowhere, and he's still not going anywhere without that. That we can clearly see. So that's point number one. Then he's talking about the UN trying to have key reforms on the UN Council. We live in a global economy. It's the global world. People are seeing what he is doing. You go with a gazette notice to change the constitution when they are laid down procedures that should be followed to change the constitution. What kind of foolishness are you going to export to the UN Security Council? So that is already they are seeing that. They are thinking, come on, this is a joker. I mean, any normal person who's cleverly thinking wouldn't allow that. And there's a reason why Africans, most of the Africans, or why they do not allow us on the council. It's people like him. Look at the way he's bulldozing things across. Look, the president, parliament, we are all they are creatures of the constitution. Huh? So where is he deriving his powers to overturn what the Concord says? Because what the Concord says is final. You cannot, as a creature, you are just like a toe in a human body. You can't be a toe or a tail and a dog. You cannot be wagging the dog, a tail wagging the dog. This is what we have here, Anyway, I'll be listening in. It's a pleasure listening every time Ambassador Mwamba is on. He does really enlighten us, and we are very grateful. Thank you.
Abuja, thank you very much. Abuja has brought a lot of wisdom, and he has ridiculed the the constitution making process. That how would you just bring a gazette notice to amend the constitution? Let's take a few calls, then I invite you to make comment. This is just to make it as interactive as possible. There are many times when I have so many missed calls after a program and I feel guilty. So if you're trying to call now before I invite the professor to make comments on any of the callers. Yeah. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening.
Kindly speak louder. I'm yet to resolve my issues so that you can go through the system here. So I'm using a phone and just speak louder.
Okay. Good evening, Mr. Mwamba. Good evening, Mr. Kasonso.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, my name's Daniel. I'm calling you from the Kingdom of Bahrain.
Okay.
I wanted I'm listening to your program. Then I wanted to comment on the development that Barrick is doing. I've been in Zambia and I've worked for, I can say, from KCM, Mupani, Kalumbila. This time you're calling it Trident, FQM Trident, and Kansansh as well as Lumwana. Mr. Mwamba, I'll tell you those projects that these companies are doing, they are just like because, like, I'll give you an example, like in Kalumbila, or even just in Kansanshi there in Solwezi. Mr. Kasonso can bear me witness. These companies, they bought houses special for the white people. They call them the Gulf Estates. In Kalumbila, those people, they don't even know how to pay. They don't even know how much electricity costs because it's free for them. But if you look at a poor Zambian is paying more electricity compared to those foreigners who are staying there. So now these investments that they are saying to say, no, we will invest $15 billion for this project. In Lumwana right there, just in Lumwana, if you check the township that is around or the houses that Barika built there, they are using cardboards for their employees. But look at where these whites are staying in luxurious houses. So to me, I think we need policies that will also protect, like the well-being of a Zambian. That's what we are lacking in our country. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Someone very experienced, someone who's worked for the various companies, and he's calling from Bahrain, and he has given us insights into what they do and the numbers they usually project. The money rarely arrives in our country, and they rarely do these huge projects. Prof, maybe you can comment. Let me start with, let me just give my brief remarks as we are waiting for some callers. Where is Why Me? Well, Why Me, you are aware, just let me briefly state that from our ongoing investigations, Why Me was abducted from Harare on 2nd June after that engagement that took place on Saturday, 31st May 2025. The following Monday, someone turned up that they were Washibukombe and they were bringing him rings and a passport, and that was the last we saw him, around 13 hours. We then saw reports from Kalemba, from CIC, these are online newspapers, and from Koswe, from State House, that began to tell us that Why Me had been captured, and that Why Me, they used a woman to lure him. And then the information went on alongside the information of the late president when he died on 5th. On 9th, we heard that Why Me had died. We've been challenging the police. They haven't told us any other information other than the information that we've been told, that Why Me died from his injuries of torture and injuries of beatings. We have established let me allow the professor to drink water. We've established who the people involved in this matter. We've established a young lady called Lubuto, Priscilla Msonda, who is in Kasama, who was engaged on that Saturday. We've confronted her with these facts. She has denied that she's part of a state ploy to capture Why Me. We've identified who the father is, and we've identified who Washibukombe was. We've identified all the people that, the sister, the so-called sister who took the Nsalamu, the event on 31st of May took place at Urban Hotel. At Urban Hotel in Kasama. It's a new hotel at the golf club. Where is Why Me? We don't know. We had information on 9th June that Why Me had died under police custody, that he was detained at Lilai police station, and to date, the police have not produced him. The Minister of Home Affairs, we call him Cyborg, he's a chief of Cyborg, because these policemen and others are behaving literally like robots, rigid to their way of doing things, whether they're telling the lies, whether they are doing this. The Minister of Home Affairs, Honorable Jack Mwimbu, hinted to Parliament that we've arrested a few people on cyber crimes. He said, including the popular one. Now, what we don't know if that was confirmation that they have Why Me alive or dead. In fact, what should happen is that I think for us, the opposition, we must take this matter higher up. If the young lady Lubuto from Kasama was genuine, she should have reported this matter to the police, saying, look, I got engaged to Why Me. We agreed that you one day come home, but I heard from reports, credible reports from newspapers associated with State House, that they captured Why Me and is in Lusaka. Can you tell me where he is? She's entitled, because she might be someone you would consider a potential widow. She's entitled to report that matter to the police. Someone, a relative or any other, or civil activist should take up a court action of what we call a habeas corpus. A habeas corpus is a Latin word, produce a body, alive or dead. So if the information is credible that Why Me was abducted from Zimbabwe through Chirundu, locked up at Lilai for those 7 days between 2nd June and 9th June when we are told he died, the court can rule to compel the police, the Zambia police, to ensure that that body is produced. On the issue of Human Rights Commission, if you had a very vibrant Human Rights Commission, they, on their own cognizance, on their own duty, on their own constitutional mandate, demand the facts from the police. Did you send a mission into Harare? If the police lie, that's a criminal offense. Did you capture Why Me? Where is Waimi? Has he died? What is up? They are supposed to commission a full-fledged investigations if we are the Human Rights Commission of Substance. They are waiting for someone to report. On other matters, they will just, on their own accord, take up the issue. So where is Waimi? We don't know. We last heard that he had died in police custody on 9th June 2025. There is no more, no less information other than that. There are others that have emerged that were abducted, and I'll give you this. Tony, the businessman from Chingola. There is a man from Kasama who had challenged, there's even a viral video, who had challenged President Hakainde Hichilema and challenged him, you know. His words could have been inciting, but he demanded that Zambians should remove Hakainde Hichilema. There was that viral video. We'll get it for you. The family are reporting that that old man is missing. So there are many names of people that are missing, and I thought I could do that update on Waimi. Let's take some calls. Sorry, Doc, Prof, we'll get back to you. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from, and mute your device. Mute your device and then make your contributions. Oh, now he has muted himself. I said mute the device, not to mute your own phone.
Hello?
Hello, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Is that for Emmanuel Mwamba?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Would you care to switch off the other device or reduce volume on it?
Okay, is it off now?
Yes, it is. Now,
can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Yes, Mr. Emmanuel Mwamba. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you, my brother. Make your quick contributions. Tell us your name, where you're calling us from, and make your contributions.
Yeah, my name is Ben Shmalu. I'm calling from UK. I'm Zambian.
Ben Shmalu,
yeah,
wonderful.
My concern is about the president, the body of the president. To me, I feel it's very inhuman. For the PF, please, let's speak peace. Let peace prevail in our country. You know, there was this confusion which we should not deny. The beating of people, the gassing, what PF was doing was bad. That's why they were voted out of power. And the president said, yes, the cadre was not doing well. So can you please, you can organize yourself up PF. Find the people there are good people in PF who can read PF. Not this hatred which you are showing with the readers. Can you have people who can show love to the Zambian people? This death has got a meaning to the Zambian people. At the end of the day, there's going to be peace. What is happening is not good. We should not have a former president to be buried outside the country. Please, can you reorganize yourself as PF? Can we be human? You cannot be fighting over something where you're thinking after UPND loses, that's when you're going to bury the president. Does it make sense, sure, to people who are learned? Sure, honestly. There are no elderly people in PF to advise them that they let them come and bury the thing. Not that he didn't want. No, let's be human. Now about why me, I don't know. Are you the ones who are sponsoring why me? Were you hurt with those insults? I don't know why you are so much on why me. The insult that he was insulting Mr. Mwamba, were you the one sponsoring him to be insulting elderly people? Is that Zambian, honestly? Eh? You are just looking at his disappearance. Were you condemning his insults? Those insults he was insulting elderly people. If those insults were being insulted on you, were you going to be happy, honestly?
Okay, we'll answer you, Ben. Thank you very much for your contribution. Ben Shmalo from UK is asking, let's take some more calls. Oh, there are so many calls. Please make your contributions quickly before I allow the professor to come in. Okay. Hello, good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Yeah, I'm Joseph Chileshe, calling from Johannesburg, South Africa.
Joseph Chileshe, make your contributions.
Yes, sir. It's just a quick one. You know, I'm just trying to respond to that guy who's saying he's calling from UK, right? He has just mentioned things like, you know, what the PF were doing, the bad things that we are doing, which he has even included the gassing thing and the other things that were happening. You know, Not to me, it's not making sense. I believe if he's a normal human being, also he has to think, how can a sitting government be gassing the people? If he's thinking it's the PF who are gassing the people, how can the sitting government be gassing the people? Okay, if really it's the PF who are gassing the people, now that the UPND are in power, why is it not that they are not finding the people who are gassing? Why are they not investigating? Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much, my brother. Thank you. Let's take 2 or more. So, cause, yeah. Tualamasuka mwilasa kamana tualamasuka. So tuavela kone and ningotawa professor hapa na wala yasuka. So maybe let's suspend some some questions for 5 minutes. Callers, just be patient with us. Doc, let me just quickly. The man from Nigeria talked about the knowledge economy and agreed with you on your proposals. And he was very fascinated by the issue of Council of Advisors. I love that issue because traditional African government was also a council of leaders. You have a chief or a king who's surrounded by, if we're in amongst the Bemba, you have a chief, the paramount chief, the king himself. But those that would handle traditional matters and rights. Then which is a council of fellow chiefs that he presides over. He doesn't make decisions alone over resources. The Ritunga has a similar structure. He has a cabinet led by a prime minister, who you'd call a prime minister. Then he has, council of chiefs that are, in Kalabo, in Sesheke, elsewhere, even as ambassadors deployed over conquered lands like in Kaoma. The government of consultation was, or traditional, is even far better than democracy. Because it required that a leader submits himself to the thinking of others. He didn't lead alone. But Daniel from Bahrain, very good explanation, I think. Ben Shmalwa, that the PF should find some other leaders. Why isn't President Edgar Lungu Barrett? Well, you are being naive. The issues around the late president are very sensitive. It's not up to the PF to determine what should be done with the remains of the late president. It's a family matter. That's what the South African government have told you. That's what the PF have told you. Only President Hakainde Hichilema thinks it is his duty. It's a matter for the family to determine. And if President Hakainde Hichilema and the UPND recognized that it's a matter for the family, they would not sue the widow. They'll be begging the widow. They'll be sending credible emissaries to discuss with the family. But they think that because he was former president, they have a right to yank that body and bury it. And they're even using past issues like the way government was lawless, disregarding the wishes of President Mwanawasa and President Kaunda. Those things were lawlessness and they can't form precedent. If I wish to be laid, Professor, if you wish to be laid in Kasempa or in Solwezi, people should respect your wishes. What we did to Mwanawasa and what we did to Dr. Kaunda is lawlessness by the state. You had advice here, like other laws, that you can put a plaque, Parepa Cabinet Office, Pasenotaf, Palia. Paribachi statue, if you've seen a phallic long statue there. It remembers the dead in First World War and Second World War. There is no single body there. We've called for a new law on this. But by UPND, Washmalwa, and Hakainde Hichilema, think it's a duty of the state to put those their way. It won't work. As soon as you come to the realization that the decision has to be made by the family, these matters will be resolved. Because for the first time, prominence then will be given to the family. You are fighting the family because you think you are entitled to get in that body and burying it. That is where your thinking is wrong. And that's where your energy is totally misdirected. But President you cancelled the day of national mourning. And if he recognized that body is for the widow and the family, his efforts will go there, not in the courts of law, trying to wrestle and take that body by force. In fact, there is record that they attempted to steal that body. We have reported it on this matter. There was a second attempt again to access a body. Mr. President, by UPND, please, that body belongs to the next of kin. And to make matters easier, if you recognize that the body belongs to the next of kin, your efforts to bury the late president and give him the honors and respect you want will be made far easier. But you think you are entitled because you are saying he was president. We have this standoff. And who is not working since the president died on June 5th? Is President Hakainde Hichilema. You heard he's not working. To every guest that comes to State House, he's telling them, no, President Awa Tushide, President Chilabushiku. You can see the man is not working. But Professor, before we go back to the phones.
Yeah, thank you. So I wanted to also appreciate the Honorable Sensual Banda's comment on whether the Parliament under Speaker Muti can be trusted with the process of advancing the Constitution. You know, there is a time when we should speak with one voice. There's a time we should speak with one voice. If the government is speaking with one voice, that's their prerogative to move forward regardless of what is going on in the country, regardless of the court case. It is their prerogative to create a private constitution for themselves. And now the churches, which are so invested in the constitution making process to ensure justice and fairness and just laws are enacted, they have come out. The civil society have come out, and many independent citizens have come out. So what we need to see in the country is that consultative process to begin, and whatever questions that are there, let the people go and answer them, and then create out of that perhaps a new document, a new bill or something like that. But let the Constitution be people driven as it was decreed by the court, as it was pronounced by the Constitutional Court. It's, you know, how many are you in Parliament? And you know, yes, you are the people's representatives on the political side of things and on the enacting of the laws side of things. But the actual provisions must directly come from the people. That's the kind of constitution we want in the Zambia. Dr. Samuel is in Abuja. He mentioned something to do with the 10-point plan. So when this president came on his platform, he said he had a vision and he had 10 points. And now they've told us that of those 10 points, they have fulfilled at least 9 out of 10. So they are in an A. Now, why is there zero dent to the poverty proportions of people who are living under the poverty line in the country? It means that those 10 points were either inadequate or they were not grounded in sound research, or they were just insufficient solutions to big problems. Insufficient solutions to big problems. So now what is he going to come up with? You know, the vision must be carved in terms of principle. And let me give you an example of a vision carved in terms of principle. Restructure the economy, reorganize our financial base, reinvigorate wealth creation capacity at personal level, firm level, and country level, so our people can keep more of what they earn from the global economy. That is both measurable and can be implemented to cut across the nation and across sector. We simply ask ourselves a question. In this particular transaction, are the people going to keep more of what they're earning? If the answer is no, we must make changes there. You know, so I want to also appreciate Dr. Samuel's acceding to the idea of the Council of Advisors. The Council of Advisors. You know, I like your concept of trying to compare our traditional setup in Africa and especially how Shirubemba are organized and other people groups and other tribes as well. I like that. Yeah, but I also enjoy references from the Bible. The young Hebrew boys were taken out of their homes and taken to captivity in Babylon, and then they were put into school to become experts that will advise the government. So from the ancient days to this very day, it's the advising body must be the experts, and the king or the leader governs the country through their council and through implementing their strategies. Not kumano ndi kwatire erwaisa no tumano teni umwacha implement teni salata irekwa. So no, that is what we are critical of in terms of the advising structure. The other thing is this, that we haven't
hold your fire. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Yeah, hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Uh-oh. Hello.
Hello, Ambassador.
Hello. Mwaluwa mwe wantu wakwalesa. Tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
I know I'm still in Zambia, no, Ambassador.
Okay, sir. Mr. Mavo? Mr. Mavo from Italy is the president of the Zambians in Italy, and he had traveled to Zambia to attend to the late President Edgar Lungu's funeral. Please make your contributions.
Thank you, Ambassador. Good evening, Professor Kasonso.
Good evening, sir.
Nice.
Yeah.
He's very excited about that.
Ambassador, I'm like you and Professor Kasonso. Stigmatism. I think kuberenga. And I've observed, Ambassador, you have a lot of wisdom, just as Professor Kasonso. So I have a few questions for you, because we have a lot of things we're talking about. We're talking about Ichidiro, we're talking about BU7, we're talking about Why Me, and we're talking about the massacre. Hello, Ambassador.
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Hello?
We can hear you. Please continue. We can hear you. You are good. You are good.
Hello?
Oh, we can hear you. We can hear you, my brother.
Oh, my God. Network there, hello?
We can hear you. We can hear you. Proceed. Oh, maybe we have to allow Mr. Mabo to call back. He's in Zambia, and I know the network is terrible in Zambia. Although we could hear him, he couldn't hear us.
Yeah.
Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
I would like to remain anonymous if it's okay.
Anonymous, make your contributions.
Good evening, Mamamba and Chungolosh Mwani Wakasonso. I hope I can have 2 minutes or 3 minutes.
That's fine. That's fine, my sister.
Thank you very much. So I would like to comment on the mining, the resources. I live in one of the most privileged, or not really privileged, but one of the countries that have really done very well in the last 50 years. We share something in common with Zambia. So they have natural resources, they have oil. And what they have done with their oil is something the world admires. I think they are one of the countries, the few countries with a pensions fund. So all the resources, the oil, of course, it's nationalized. So all the revenue that comes, they have pulled it and they have put it in the pensions fund. And apparently, I think they use only 3% of it not every year, but I think in the third year or something, but just 3%. All this money has been set aside for future generations. You can go, they have a museum where they have, where you can see how much oil has been mined, how much has dried up, how much is remaining, just to give them a foresight. This is in order to plan for its people. During COVID and after COVID, we have had, at my workplace, we have had a conference where we were told that this country could actually go into lockdown for 8 years and they would never be bankrupt. Now, imagine listening to that, and I have a country called Zambia, and we have not nationalized our minerals. So nothing wrong with that. However, this is what Abakasonso is talking about, and the other guy from Abuja talked about. How do we maximize our potential? For how long are we going to be talking about this? Bakasonso, you mentioned something about Northwestern Province. I share Northwestern Province with you. I have both parents coming from Northwestern and Eastern Province. And I have a problem. When the Mpundu incident happened, I was following and reading. We got to learn. Some people who mentioned, I got to speak to some aspiring candidates, members of parliament who were really broken, who have an understanding on how the resources must be used and how much of the resources from Northwestern Province are contributing to the GDP of Zambia, right? But then my question, so when I listen, I also have this reality in me where I'm living, the benefits of nationalizing the resources and having a functioning institution. So it's very important. You're talking about the councils of advisors. But then I'll also ask, do we have functioning institutions that are going and that we're going to live by the frameworks, that those councils are going to work by the frameworks? Because it's very important that these institutions are functioning and therefore they are good advisors to the president. And why is it important? It is important because instead of us saying, because remember, not every province have got those minerals. Now, in the event we start saying, because in Mfumako Western Province, in Mfumako Wapula, Mfumako Eastern, if you Mafiakuno must be left here, what happens with those provinces that have got no resources, minerals, right? So that is where I have a problem. Much as I support, it breaks my heart to see Northwestern Province contributing. They also have land issues, not just the natural resources, they also have land issues. So I hope that people are listening and that as we advise, we should also think about the whole picture of Zambia by the end of the day. When we start saying, if yes, and then we also have tribalism coming in. So the more we talk about these resources on how we share, I think we also have to reason to say who else are listening and how are they understanding what we're talking about. It's very important. Thank you on that one. Then we move. So what would I say? Sorry, just before I finish, what would I say on the resources? I am for everything that Zambia should nationalize, but more importantly, we must have reforms and be able to produce functioning institution because we are a democracy. Only then are we going to be proud that Zambia in the long run can have at least a pensions fund to look after our people. Another thing that I would like to see for Zambia is that Zambia must have personal numbers so that we would know the population. Bamwamba, you are a household chief. Bakasonso, you also run a household. It's important for you to know how many people live in your household, for you to be able to budget. Why isn't it important for Zambia not to know its people, its population? I think it's important that we should also start advocating that we must know every individual that is living in the country, and each one of them must have a personal number. That is going to guide us. That, by the way, will also avoid Fifiama rigging, Fifiama elections, who is not. Countries have digitalized, and we know who is eligible to vote and not eligible to vote, who is 50 years, who is 80 years, because they've got that system in place. So Zambia must start thinking in those lines.
My dear sister, thank you for your thought. Quickly wind up. Yeah.
One thing that I appreciate is that you talked about it. However, I would also like to hear you say, every politician that, thank you very much. Okay, so I would like you to say that all politicians that have seen vulnerable youths that do not have representation, especially families, must not be used for political mileage. Waimi was a very vulnerable young man. If he's dead, it's very sad, because nobody must die because he insulted. But again, yes, he insulted, but those insults, nobody would have loved, but that did not guarantee or warrant him to die. So ideally hope that he's alive somewhere. And I would like us to, at least when we do our politics, let us always think about Zambia. Thank you so much, and thank you for the time. I appreciate that. Thank you for this lovely program.
Oh, wonderful. I've got on the lines here our dear brother and your brother. Just a minute. Chilufia from the United Kingdom is calling. Let me just switch off my Bluetooth because you were. Chilufia, good evening. Please tell us your name and where you're calling from. Just introduce yourself for the sake of our people.
Yeah, good evening, Mwamba. Good evening, viewers. Good evening, Kasonso.
Good evening. Good evening, Bachirufia. You see what's on your screen?
Yeah. So,
mind your language.
This program, even if I can see the comments, viewers, Zambians don't read. And I do appreciate, Mwamba, the education that is coming from this program because of your initiative. Bakasonso has said a lot of things. But Mwamba, we don't have leadership in our country. Not only in this government, not only under Edgar, we had a bit of leadership during Kaunda up to about 73 and Mwanawasa. But no nation, Mwamba, would develop without true leadership. Why am I saying that? If you listen to the caller who called, whatever he was talking about is about leadership. Mwamba, true leaders are critical thinkers. They are generational thinkers. They are strategic thinkers. They think ahead. If Zambia had leaders, Mwamba, Zambia would be so rich because Kaunda, all presidents, most of the presidents, except maybe for Chilwa, because he got a country that was bankrupt. But Kaunda would have created so actually, Mwamba, if you should know, there was a steering commission somewhere in 1966 or so. This steering commission recommended that Zambia should create a fund for copper revenue, excess copper revenue, more or less like that time there was no what is known as sovereign wealth fund. So that on a rainy day, they can use that money to cushion the economy, to survive. Mwamba, it was rejected. If a sovereign wealth fund was created through the steering committee, Zambia would be somewhere else. Because what could have happened is whatever Zambia was doing, they were going to invest through that sovereign wealth fund. And Mwamba, as if that was enough, few years after the steering committee recommendations, the economy started collapsing. copper prices went down, production went down. Not only that, we had the oil crisis in the Middle East. Zambia listened because true leaders, they embrace criticism, they embrace different ideas, innovative ideas, perspective. I'm talking about some presidents. Challenge. Criticize even constructively. The way we are doing it needs to never. They will even start saying because no, we are patriotic Zambians. This guy is telling you what is happening in the country where he has lived. Bamwamba, the countries that have developed, and this is biblical, they are the countries that have harnessed their natural resources to the benefits of their people. Zambia will never develop until we harness our mineral resources. Though I'm not for the idea of the other guy nationalized. What I want is the Botswana formula. We need to have control of our minerals, like what Kaunda did in 1969. He got 51%. The moment Kaunda got 51%. We built Tazara, we built Inden, all these industries were built. So our leaders, if they know history, they will know that even diversification, we need money from copper. Botswana has got a diversification fund on top of a sovereign wealth fund. What is this diversification fund for? It's coming from the diamond mine money to diversify into tourism and agriculture. So, but without mining, imagine we had Mopani, a mine which is the best silver for Zambians. We gave it away. Nobody has explained to us where we should have kept Mopani and run it 100% because it was our bank, our mine, and Bamwamba. Countries, look at the countries like Norway, Nigeria, Botswana, Mauritius. They all have sovereign wealth funds. They also have reserves. They plan ahead. Bamwamba, I don't know whether you've seen the video. I don't know whether you've played the video, Yakugana.
Oh, I can play it. Yes, about the gold findings. Yeah, where they went just in the first quarter $5 billion.
5 billion, Bamwamba. If we had leadership in Zambia, Kasensele, now Mumfumbwe, and Bamwamba, we don't have a policy. We don't have a policy or a strategy because when you look at Ghana, they've got a policy in place. If we like firefighting, and that's lack of leadership.
Okay. But I may have to bring you at the end. Let me just take these other calls. Thank you very much. Always insightful. Hello, good evening. Please tell us your name. I can see you've muted yourself. Tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
I would like to be considered anonymous as well.
Anonymous, make your contributions.
Thank you so much, Ambassador. Good evening, Dr. Kansonso. I just wanted to make a contribution based on the discussion that you started with Dr. Kansonso because that's where my area of interest is. Zambia is 60 plus years independent.
Yeah.
And we have no excuse to say somebody has been holding us back or this has been holding us back for us to be where we wanted to be. If anything, we have been holding ourselves back. We have copper, we have gold, we have water, we have land, and the biggest asset that Zambia has is people. If the people of Zambia do not wake up and band together as one Zambia, one nation, and begin to work towards a galvanized future for all Zambians, we are not looking for politicians to come and be our saviors. We're not looking for people from the diaspora to come and be our saviors. We are looking for true and well-meaning Zambians who have the expertise and the technical know-how to insert themselves in strategic places in our economy to begin fighting this uphill battle, because the politicians have failed us, suffice to say, because we've 60 plus years and we are still here. You know, it is embarrassing and it is just disheartening.
What is the way forward? Quickly, my brother, as you wind up.
Same circle of disarray, like we are people who don't know where we want to go. We know where we want to go, and we are strategically placed in Africa, centrally located, land linked, not landlocked, like we used to think. If Zambia could just wake up, we could be the breadbasket of that entire region, and we can supply, you know, food and all the wealth from our natural resources to the rest of Africa. We can be a shining example, but where we are right now is just disheartening. But I'm enjoying the program. You guys are bringing out the real issues that need to be talked about, and I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, my brother. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Ambassador Zambia.
Oh, Bamabo Mkwai. Make your contributions quickly.
Mkwai, no, hello, Ambassador.
Mkwai.
I disagree with Bachilufia. I feel Bachelor from the UK and 100% agreed with Baba Ratman on Anonymous.
Ambassador. We can hear you, my brother.
Zambia doesn't lack leaders, Ambassador. We have a lot of wise people. I think if an for first, as a nation, even sub-Saharan Africa, I think we are one of the races, if not the only race, that has misplaced priorities. You know, today we're talking about Echiro Chaba, our late president, then Why Me, then we're talking about Ifya Gold, and we're talking about the letter that Dr. Sishua wrote. But, you know, I wanted to ask Dr. Kasonso, even you, Ambassador, for example, if we took sub-Saharan Africans and put them in Western Europe, and then Western Europeans into sub-Saharan Africa, what do you think is what's going to happen?
Okay. Yo, tuwalaya sukabane. Bamabobaisa. Mkwai. Bamabobaisa. Bachelor disagree with the leadership issue of what Bachilufia stated. But Bachilufia is very clear. I think he means that the political leadership has been let down. Even the other caller, the political leadership has been let down. That's where the failure is. Hello, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening, Wamwamba. It's me, Mkonge, calling from Serenje, Chief Kafinda.
Mkwaiba ba Mkongela ndeni pona imwe.
Kwena Wamwamba, sometimes amano yarapera because if we want to taturande chinka, ingufako amakolas abachila skapu about pamalia shia tatu. Number first na randa pama palia shia mines. Fwe 1 2 3 wako fene chinka no kutasha ture tasha. Because our mines over PF and our ECL, bali pokere konkora kopa mines. Kwalina ma projects aya kwebachi kwambo kweba abantu kwebachi bakwate amano aya kwebachi kuti bachitarani migoti kubika pona mina mukwani yonse bali poka badubuteko bwanyu bwaisapo wawesesha bamwise migoti pamakora zonse abale tuma bambalera ndefya mu 1967 bafere barande fya rechitika ngachakwebachi ba UPND na bena government ngabali konkanyapo move ya mbere ba outgoing government palino istatulera nda Zambia nga ilifye bwi nomba bena bafuma munshira yaba nawo bali tontonkanya ko batika tubwesha amamanzi mwaboko Yesu mufere mwabweshanga mwabweshero mwambo kupekanya nomba ofe mwinga womba
Bamunkonge stay wind up wangu.
Okay, then pa chiliro chaba fyashi. Ili ashiri alishi bikokwe bati omuntu umo ewalenga kwe bati nyufa ishikwa. Nomba lishita bamwipushisha ati bushore tontonkanya koshani. Pantu obali kwe bati ufire wasangwa pali pote. Ufire wasangwa pa chiliro. Lishita bamwipushisha obakanya because tabakanya kwa timufa irara mu Zambia. Bali omuntu umo ushiriri jipo kusangwa pa pote. Bafuire barepusha direct berabika mu ba PF berabika mona nabantu bambi family yalira ndoko bati omuntu umo tafuire asangwa poso omuntu umo ewatubika mu problem yakwe bati na ino shitatu ishika.
Thank you Bamunkonge, thank you very much. Legeni miputule abantu besino akwatefiebo. Many people are writing. A friend of mine has written this also. Davis also has also written about it, that the way forward to the mining sector, Professor Kasonso, in our view, should be the Chilean model. Let's take time to study the Chilean model, and you will see how wealth, first of all, is gathered, distributed, and how marketing rights are only limited to the authority in Chile. I agree, something we may need to study. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from before I allow Professor to come in, and we might have to allow him briefly as another meeting, then I can continue to wind up the program. Tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Yeah, this is Bed again, Bamwamba. I agree with the other caller who talked about leadership. This is what I'm saying, Bamwamba, you're still young. You talk saying sometimes you're offline. You are one of the person I was admiring about leadership. But now, please, can you take that leadership you are showing at first? You know, even, for example, PF, after the president resigned, Edgar Chagwarungu, why did you fail Bafana PF to organize yourself? You'd have chosen someone to be leader of PF. Today, the rank was in PF, would not have been there. But you let it, you dragged it. After paying him 200,000. This is the thing, what you young ones, can you take up the leadership? Forget about Avakuru, Baenda. Take up the leadership. Mr. Mwamba, the way you've developed yourself, you did not copy it, you've got your own idea. Talk about how you can deal with these illegal miners. We need laws in the country. You cannot have people mining illegally. It's not a massacre. Can you tell the people how you can do it better now? Are you going to allow people to be mining illegally? No.
Thank you, Aben. Thank you very much, Aben. Thank you very much, Aben. You'd make a lot of contributions and make a lot of sense. Let's continue to hear from many people. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Emmanuel, this is Trevor Simumba. You can't recognize my voice.
Trevor Simumba, when are you coming on the program? I can't have you as a caller. You, like Professor Kasonso, we should host you. Yeah.
No, today I just want to call. I just want to say to yourself and to Kasonso that, you know, I'm very proud of you. And I just want to appeal to my fellow Zambians. You know, when you criticize a government, a leadership, it doesn't mean you hate them. Okay? Zambia belongs to all of us. Okay? You and I, Emmanuel, and I'm sure even Dr. Kasoso, but you and I, the two of us, we've been through a lot from the time of multi-party democracy to what we are today as a country. And I find it very difficult to understand the level of hate, the level of acrimony. You know, people who were friends are no longer friends because of personal anger and personal desires, forgetting the interest of the country. Look, the fact of the matter is, the UPND stood on a principle that they were going to fix the economy and they were going to do things differently. But today, it shocks me that they justify their mistakes on the basis that PF were worse. We know that PF had its own mistakes, all right? But you cannot use 4 years after being elected for change. You are still blaming the Patriotic Front for the problems that the country is facing. I think that is very unfair and it's very unfortunate. And it actually, for me, what makes me so disappointed is that people that I saw that they were colleagues, professionals, today are speaking like just somebody who's never been to a classroom in their lives. Okay? There are some good things that the president has done, that the government has done, but there's not a lot of bad things that they've done. Okay? We have failed to empower Zambians. Why should Zambians be shot for trying to mine gold? Honestly, in this day and age, why should anybody die for a resource that belongs to us as Zambians? That's something we should, all of us should not accept. Whether one person died, 2 persons, or whatever it is, any death of a Zambia is not right. It is not right, and we must condemn it with all the strength that we have. So I want to just encourage you, Ibano, continue what you're doing. And at the right time, I will come and do a special program with you.
Thank you, Trevor.
We'll be able to do something together.
Trevor,
thank you very much.
Candid speaking all the time. He speaks truth to power. It lands him in problems, but that's how much he loves our country. He speaks the truth. Prof, let me take the last call, then I hear from you. The other callers then can remain with me as I excuse you. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Chirifie bane chirifie. Ifo pano tulasuminisha.
Okay. Echo ndefu fesi echo ndefu Rwanda cha malilo. Amalilo alistiri agree kuti ati president yafuiro kusangwa. Ero futi wachite na council national mode. So abalefu wati wakaite muno muzanga. Ofero konga our family. They need to respect the Nanigan. Ofero respect the decision ya family.
Thank you, my brother. Mkwai.
They need chimbi. Chavati abantu bali fumyenda rama. Then amana nikane ambita bafumya like 100 kwacha tabafumya. Then na nikane 100 kwacha tabafumya 50 kwacha tabafumya. So sometimes ama change ya reshupa. Mutulandire kona na FNF. Kwa benda rama bafumya chimbita bafumya.
Bafumya vyama 200 kwacha. Yeah, okay, thank you very much. Professor, answer.
Yes,
I'll give you time to answer to our people, and I'll let you, because you have a commitment, I'll let you leave. Then I'll wind up with the last callers and also briefly speak about the statement by Sishua. I think it's very profound. But first, answer any other matter that has risen. Answer to the issues and then give your last remarks. Then for the callers, just give me 5 minutes. Let's allow the professor to say his remarks, and also we bid farewell to him. Then I'll remain with you to get the last phone calls and also speak about the last matters. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I will start with the last issue that Mr. Zambia, I call him Mr. Zambia, Trevor Simumba said about the blame game. It's very unfortunate for the UPND government to have adopted the PF as a standard, the standard by which they should compare their work. Yeah, that's very, very unfortunate, and resulting to the blame game. Everything, they don't take responsibility. Everything, it's because of PF. Oh, we are doing better than PF. No. PF, in fact, went through a lot of trauma. The death of the president, the fights within the party, then the cadreism and all those kind of things. It was a socially disruptive period that we cannot take as a gold standard on how to run the country. And then, yeah, so the similar to the guy from Serenge, who I can just say, if we want, the type of country we want, if the type of country we're trying to look forward to building, we cannot take ECL as the gold standard. We cannot do that. We cannot do that. There are some great things he did, yes, but there's also an approach. He took an approach that we can't take. The current administration clearly falls short of taking advice. Sometimes they do take advice. For example, I was gratified to see my 3-point advice be realized when they met with the United States ambassador. You know, I told them at the very beginning, I said, take the punch. That is an attack on your government. Take the punch. That's what men do. And I told them that, you know, if there are changes that are required, you know, make some changes, implement them, let them become visible. And then I told them that engage in quiet diplomacy. Yeah. So, but they have to understand how Americans work. If the Americans say to you, you are corrupt, we don't trust you, you can't come back with your left hand to say, oh, no, let's do business here. You know, if they're not trusting you because they think you're corrupt, you cannot arm twist them. So let's work together. So it's either you change the things that they're complaining about and you demonstrate that the change is going to be lasting. And then you can have a relationship set not just on your terms, but on their terms. So I would just like to advise that I think they have to have an understanding. They have to study how to work with US Americans. So sometimes I'm looking at their approaches and I get concerned about that. There was a caller an anonymous caller who talked about why the oil resources were nationalized in some country. That model, I have to be honest with you, cannot work in Zambia because the mining industry is very treacherous. The mining industry is very treacherous. And if you go and nationalize them, you will end up having nowhere to go and sell those things. And you end up with sanctions because you have taken other people's money. I am for the idea of increasing our stake in those mines. In fact, me and Bachirufia, we have always been on the same page on this issue. The Botswana model is a good example where we have a significant portion of shareholding and participation in management so that there's no cheating, you know. So nationalizing, especially when you invite investors and then you nationalize those industries, that's a criminal act by a government that is punishable with sanctions from other nations. So we cannot do that. But what we can do is to increase our stake in the mineral wealth of the country. Yes, and then when we say you can't just dig copper, dig minerals and leave nothing there, leave something there. We are talking about a strategic effort of reinvestment in the areas that have produced. We are not saying the other areas in the country should be excluded, but we're also not saying the other areas should be should be treated as if they are the same. The places where we are digging these minerals should be treated the same way as the other places where there are no minerals. No. That's not the standard we have to take. So I disagree with that. But I will ask the question that if we took people out of Europe and brought them to Africa and took the people in Africa and took them to Europe, what would happen to either places or both places? We already have done that and we've seen what happened. South Africa is a good example of that. The Europeans came there and you go and see the country, see the difference between South Africa and other African countries. So, you know, development and success, sometimes it's a cultural issue. Sometimes even poverty is hereditary, you know. So, but we have to create solutions to our kind of problems and just raise up a little bit the standard of living for our people. that is commensurate with the resources that are in the country. Ben Shimwalwa from the UK talked about the insults of Waimi and all those kind of things as an indictment of his personality. I don't think Bamwamba or anybody on this show is trying to condone that aspect of Waimi's life. What we are trying to say is that Waimi is a human being. He must not be denied his humanity and be killed and eaten and be forgotten like that. So that is why this conversation must continue, because the citizens of the country must be given their rights. Even step up in court is your right. You cannot just be killed. No. I also enjoyed the comment from Daniel in the Kingdom of Bahrain. He talks about Tushinga Bata. These pledges from these investors, when, for example, they say they are going to invest $2 billion or $1.5 billion, that $1.5 billion could just be a stream of heavy excavating equipment, because that is very expensive. So they can bring that. You are announcing the figure 1.5 billion investment, but when you look at the investment, it's just in maybe 4 or 5 new sets of earth excavation equipment. That's an investment. So we don't announce investment like that. We must announce investment on the basis of impact. This was invested. This is what we've got out of it. And this is what will be invested. This is what we are going to get out of it. Don't just mention the numbers of investment. Also speak about what the investment is intended for and what it is going to produce for the people. We have to be able to do that. That is how we read the numbers, because they just announced the numbers. People are thinking there are billions that are coming in the country. Meanwhile, it's just a few pieces of equipment that are going to be digging minerals. That is investment. Yeah, that can be investment. Yeah. So Joseph Chileshe spoke about gassing and how the people who was doing the gassing were not found, and the new government has come in. It hasn't published any investigation about the people who were doing that. So we do need some closures to certain situations, and it's very important that we have a competent government that can carry out these tasks, that can count people's names, and that can answer difficult questions in the country. So in a nutshell, the stalemate between the Lungu family and the president is a lose-lose situation for the government. The government will lose if the family buries Edgar Lungu in South Africa. The government will lose if they force Edgar Lungu to be buried in Zambia by force. They will lose. Also, they will pay a heavy political price for that. Concerning the constitution, it's very important that this government is seen to be a law-abiding citizen. The government cannot be a government of lawlessness. If the Constitutional Court has said they should take a consultative approach, let us see visibly that consultative approach. And then let us have an early warning system. An early warning system. If people gravitate to a certain place, they may have discovered minerals and things like that. So we have to have an early warning system so that we are not firefighting all the time. The problem with lack of planning in this government structure, lack of governing strategy, is that they are constantly firefighting the problems. We need government that has defined policies in each major sector of the economy so that we can improve the welfare of our people. For example, they come back and everything, they just say CDF, or CDF this, CDF that. They haven't come back to us to give us the correct assessment of the impact of CDF on the economy, and what has CDF achieved in the economy. Don't just provide a checklist or what I call box ticking. Don't just be box ticking, but make a comprehensive assessment. If the success from CDF cannot be measured at micro level and macro level, then let us not be singing the CDF song as if it's changing the country. Meanwhile, it's just fixing small problems. We cannot have a government that is using small solutions to big problems. They have implemented almost all of their 10 points, but where is the economy today? Where is the poverty line? Has there been any changes? So we need proper strategies and a proper vision to recalibrate the economy of the country and to help the people understand that we have a brighter future and we can do better as a country. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Professor. Thank you, Professor Kasonso, for coming and for spending time with us and the audience. Someone has said, Ambassador, this Ben Tamle Mwasuka, there's a Ben from United Kingdom who's literally parroting the position of the UPND, that why me deserves to die because he was insulting the president. And they're trying to say that because we didn't condemn why me, we should therefore not raise issues around his disappearance and his, they are literally, the UPND are putting it like it is okay to take the life of Waimi. They're even forgetting that in this country, we even passed a law to stop death penalty. Not even the state is allowed to take away any life. That's how sacred the life is. But maybe let me remind the young man, in case he doesn't remember. Prof, I'll be releasing you if you wish to go. If you wish to stay with me, you still can stay with me. I'll put you in the background if you're listening through this program. But let me remind the youths about the insults from the UPND that have never been attended. The police have never arrested these youths. The president has never condemned these youths. The president has never directed that these youths be arrested. So when you want to worry about why me, why haven't you worried about this and ensuring that the law is implemented?
Lungu must watch his steps. Yes. He must watch his steps. I think Lusaka province and other provinces, you've tolerated that idiot for so long. Bring that man to Northwestern where we practice circumcision so that we take him into circumcision. We take him into circumcision. We are not here docile. People, the civil servants, we are not working. Because under the civil service there was a serious division. Ethnicity was the code of the day. Promotion was just wanted on because you belong to a certain political party on ethnicity. Is that what Rungu thinks he can take us back to? We will circumcise him. Yes. We are appealing to government. If there is opportunity for Rungu to come to Northwestern, please do it quick. Yes. Bring him here. Yeah. Bring him here so that we teach him a lesson. Yes. And you remember the time his mother cried when giving birth to him. We cannot be doing things like cry babies in a country. Who is Rungu? Who does he think he is? Does he want Zambia? Does he want Zambia? Please, we ask Mr. Rungu to consider himself as a statesman or face proper circumcision that he has never witnessed before. He will see us. And to the youths in Lusaka, we are appealing to you colleagues. Yes. Wake up. Wake up. If you don't have money power there, tell us, we come. Yes. As a province, we are very much ready to coordinate and bring the youth there in Lusaka. So that we teach that thug lesson. You cannot belong to a party of a behavior and is busy calling himself as a serpent. You can be a serpent, but there are egos in this country. We are able to grab you off from the ground and take you in the high sky. We fight from there. Rungu, Rungu, Rungu. Wherever you are, as you are watching this, this is Kokera Moses. I understand very well where you want to go. If you want to die from the hands of President Hakainde Hichilema, please spare Hakainde Hichilema not to kill you. Allow us to kill you.
Where was President Hakainde Hichilema with those insults being showered very regularly, sometimes appearing on ZNBC against the late president? Where was it UPND's decency? Where was the police? Did they arrest those youths? So it gives you a right to take the life of Waimi. Can we use the same measuring standard? Did anyone take the lives of those youths that were showering those insults against the late president? So I'd like to thank Professor Kasonso for participating with me. You'll be a regular guest. We'll be borrowing his mind again and again. So I think our brother wants to go back and defend himself. Is that Ben again?
Yeah, Bamwamba.
Yes.
Yeah, what I said, I did not say it's right for why me to be killed. Please, don't say things. That person who said that it's right for why me to be killed. Can we make things the way I talk? You're a journalist, and that's how we have to put it. My question was, are you the ones who were supporting him when he went to Zimbabwe, Kutakachita in South? Was that right? That was my question. I did not talk about it's good for him to die. I'm a Christian. No one should kill someone.
Thank you,
Ben. I was looking at what he was doing. Was it right? I did not say I'm supporting that he should die. No. Why should I do that?
Ben, if you see the comments from the UPND and the people we call praise singers, what you said is exactly what they say. Waimi was insulting the president, and they put it like Waimi deserves to die. You put it in the same way.
I did not look at why me insulting the president. He was just insulting whoever comes in to insult, not specific at the president. It was not just the president.
The worst insults, Ben, usually come even from Koswe, a media from State House. Has anyone arrested those journalists from State House? The insults come from UPND youths. Has anyone arrested those youths? Why don't we apply? Why don't we condemn what is wrong? Why are we selective?
We should not look at the wrong. I've already said, Mamamba, you are one of the person who talks with people, but don't align yourself in a political line. You don't know what God has prepared for you. Maybe tomorrow you'll be the president of this country. What good are you going to do? I'm in UK. I've seen how the laws are applying in this country, even where you are. Where there is a law, people should follow what the law is.
Thank you.
Something that is wrong, let's appoint that this is wrong.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you, my brother. Thank you. You've had an opportunity. No, thank you for that clarification. And I hope that wasn't your position. I'm grateful that you've made the clarification.
We should have a program where we talk you and me nicely, not to bring in politics.
No. Politics is our lifeblood. Politics is our lifeblood. We are using politics. Politics give you leaders. You heard many people talk about leaders. We don't have a sovereign wealth fund. We have bad policies. Our assets are being looted. Our national treasury is being looted. It comes down to leadership. People like you, Ben, have a presupposition that we should leave politics to politicians. Then you wonder when you have leaders, the kind of leaders you have. Because all the good people are in the periphery. And the space has been left by those that even can't rule your household. They're the ones you call your leaders. So, in fact, you need to encourage people like us who have thrown our lives, our risks. We've sacrificed our family to be in this space, to attempt to sanitize it and bring it back to where it should be, that we need to develop our country. So, hold on, I've got another caller. I'd promised that you'd come before the end. My dear brother, Bachirufia, please introduce yourself.
I'll be quick, Mamwamba. Patrick Chilufia from the UK. You know, Mamwamba, Zambians don't understand that there's a difference between a politician and a leader.
Yeah.
You know, And HH, we thought he was a leader, but then we've discovered he's a politician. You know, Dr. Miles Monroe gave just one good example, the difference between a politician and a leader. He said, first he said, not until we bring leadership into politics, we will never develop as third world countries. Then he clarified that. He went on to say, the difference, one main difference between a leader and a politician is that a politician thinks about the next general election. That's his priority. And this is what exactly HH is doing. And this is exactly what most of the politicians we call leaders or presidents have been doing. You know, Chiluba did that. You know, his priority from 1991 to 96 is to make sure that he wins the 1996 elections. So whoever was coming in his way, Kaunda, everybody blocked them. HH is doing the same thing. Nobody should come his way between 21 and 2026. But a true leader thinks about the next generation. So, Bamwamba, uno shitukwete mu Zambia uno. Those are intergenerational wealth. We can translate it into generational wealth if we have got leaders, not politicians. And then, Bamwamba, on Why Me, it's really sad that some people are politicizing the death of Waini. You mentioned something very important, that in Zambia there's no death sentence. Why? Because everybody, Bamwamba, has got rights to life. It's your human right. So whether a criminal or what, they've got the right. You know, in South Africa, when Mandela came out of prison, people were shocked. Mandela built a prison called Johannesburg Prison in the southeast of Johannesburg. I was living there just a few minutes away from here. They called it what do they call it? You know, the resort in Rustenburg. They nicknamed it, what do you call the resort in Rustenburg, Bamwamba? Sun City.
Yeah, Sun City. Yes, Sun City.
Bamwamba, it was so beautiful. Then Mandela was asked, why are you building such a beautiful prison for criminals? He says, no, they've got the rights. Whether they are criminal or what, they deserve a decent life. And then, Bamwamba, by UPND to Lalama, I was in UPND. You know, I don't want to mention names, but you will know that one of the UPND guys, very close to the president, Ale Tukabana Mayo, left, right, center, until Wamukaka. You remember Wamukaka?
Tukutani ba president Lungu eba muchitena na pardon wa president Lungu.
Number mumfwe. If Uruwali tukensele shidia bamstana point as an ambassador, as diplomatic cause. Can you believe it? So, Balungu vali muipe nangwali file mu prison.
In fact, vali mushitana forgive.
And then Bamwamba, there was another guy from Kitwe, Chibokolo. Alex Tukana. Pasha Noksha. Chibokolo was jailed. But was he killed? So, but what we are saying is, whatever happened in the past, whatever is, you know, nobody is saying what Nani, why me was doing was good. But why me might have problems, Bamwamba. And it's, you know, if Fungo is not to punish, if Fungo is to reform, if the state was serious, they could have intervened. They could have intervened and tried to reform him. Because if you don't reform a prisoner, he will reoffend. And that's what exactly he was doing.
Yeah, yeah.
I rest my case, Ramon.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, my dear brother. Thank you, Bachurufe. You're always welcome. You're always welcome, my dear brother. Hello, good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Good Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
I'm calling from Mochinga Province, Kanchuria district. Hello, I'm calling from Kanchuria.
Yes, please proceed.
Yes, I'm Chireshe. I'm very happy to be with you on this conversation today, Mr. Mwamba. Kisinalasenda briefing because upon tendekete okusambira okumva muliranda ekintu kimwe kyo ningatema fyo okulanda ko kyakubalirapo kyakwewa okutiira kulingana nepo abantu batendekere okulanda nga mwamuna obuteeka obwisoofa natendeka okumala namana kwati direction ta ebukwete ine wakwe bati webena zambe twala ikaraba mtende kubure tutwala takuweme muna lotion mukutila for example nalanda pa period ya mama ine pona labalira kuno kumuchinga kumyesu twali parwako na magod mine atupata magod mine abantu batemeke bayima bati abaya ukuyimba okuvya manpower so it was illegal but balire mention yali sambo kumoneka ko yambo kwa developed.
Mkwai, are you there?
I'm not.
And they should go now move from a cause kumbali.
So chashire bipa tolisa kwata problem ya water pollution. Iyo yalingira government tukeba ti achitamo fe intervene wino bachita guide wino abantu babachita impa wafu benga bembira kwa mabozi batende ko kuomba because kule kwa kutira baseni ya license bali ishire bafika kuchita sensitize abantu kutira basende process yakwe watu watambio kuomba but they ama Chinese after baisa bena bali bepera ama njenda yakalamba sana ichire pirulo kwa the government tayasa kama na abantu abaye kalamo yasa kama na kwa foreigner rather than us Zambians. And the issue of wine what he was doing was wrong. But he has the right. No. They were supposed to ngakumtwala kukoti bamupingura ngakumukaka bamukaka tampokusevinga sentence mpaka stashani afu because in the Tuland Yamakada's why you pay the Abatukanenseri, Babina and what batatu. Bandua being sana. Our late former president, dear Bandua Monokumona, no Kumfavale for Pamidia Peniapo, Ngauricho Correro, Panuariquis. Was those people they were insulting the former president. And it's the former state, nobody should to Canavana, but Tamba, where are they today? Never gotten a piece no world area commander, but two now Walando never station never moved by. Then the issue of Edgar Lungu, Edgar Lungu. This government is faced up, but the leaders they are very stubborn. Was Variaba HF and Okana family if you send at a quaba. The quality of Wiccan and a family, but President David Valley didn't interfere. Why Mabaya family face to face my kind family while I'm shining. The children processing tend to go when the problems ya kwa tapa bale tintana apabatam pofikan batampa no official ya kuma court number if you ningatama fio kulanda kucharo kwewo kutila rekeni tuikatane ini time ya shopa because kuna be time ya kwa ati if we na Zambia tatufa yokusambira kwa chintu chimo pamlando kwa ati lero muikele bwino ni sisha kwa watu mwana panga ndaleli ya vechifupa ushukuma ofye shuti basuka bamupera so napapeni necho naisa sambira pota kuwati lesa ali tupera fi inchite ya kuwati na ifu tukapitemo nomba let's be together because it's time up already 2026 so we can do better otherwise.
Thank you, Vane, and thank you, Kanchibia. And I agree with you. We are worried about the gold pollution that is taking place wherever the gold mines are. I think it's a matter of very serious concerns. The matter of gold pollution, because they're using mercury, they're using acids, and it's a matter of worry. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Hello, good evening. Kwai kutanda kumchibemba.
Kwai mayo. Bushani ba mayo wa kwa kaputa.
Kwai tuli kwa kaputa kuno.
Mayo na tumifuluka mwali luwa na bakasonso bale mifuluka.
Una ino ine bakasonsera ali bafuluka ndefo kuya banati kufumalira mwa le televido ya pakulosha balungu felo chilo cha chitike.
Kwai.
Femwala ndile ine naliambira okufaya ati which platform should we campaign for? Baka yekula kwine bakalande chinshi balalanda chinshi balatwe banomba twatotera mwali baleta. Kwai. Chondefu okulanda kwine kumilomba fe bamwamba kulipa palile ni mutambo TV YouTube channel na bonse bakonfoko buli konse mkwai pali YouTube channel pali video ya moya mlumendo mwina Zambia mnensu kumalusaka oku alelanda sana okulanda ti bonse mwakulafu afye nge mwakulafu umu ba PF nge fifine lungu afuire unokulanda pamfwa abantu bakwaliza mu Zambia no mutima fe wabuntu sata tukwete pantu tuli ku PF nango tuli ku UPND nango tuli ku any other opposition ukulala nda pamfa filya ife fina ayo ma videos mwalangisha ayo balaba lumendo bali tukabalungu filya takuli wabekata na ulyombin kwati leader wa youth group coast north western ati mukabalete kuno tukabachite circumcise bayabonse cyose filya balanda te filubo muteko bwashanyu ulela nga shokulanda ati ifilubo fili kuli aba bashiri mu group yesu baleteka so uyo mulendo alanda timwakulafa uyo nalala ali mu 0 degrees honestly amashi uyakulanda pamuntu munenu bantu buli pama politics ifo fwebera Zambia tuli kwisa te gushe te tifena ali mfako muwaye cyo mukibe mbale funda ati wila kite misango iya kusamba ubuntu nga bakusamba ubuntu nishuwala bikinama ntabwo tama emotions ya buntu ule kitafe kwa chinama na ifinama fya alikuwa ta limit tafya kachitafi obunama bweka nangu nimbwa mukasanga iliye ndembwa ya fyala yaliba very very defensive teti yusubinisha omuntu uli wose okuyapita pali utuwana tuambwa but ama human beings da yakweta ayo ma feelings pa bantu banabo bantu balungu fofine mwalikangana mu politics even when he's dead chile emikalipa kumitima ule muntu chile emikalipa muri imwe hawe nuko bale emita bamwamba ati mukese tukese landa yo mulumendo wacha tumafoni kuma ku UK ati yo mukese ndefa abiri tukese ikala mwandi ni baputi na bafula mu mchalo Putin aleta abantu batebo bayikala bayafika bali yabafwa no one tells each balire lichinshi muti mwashi banga bakesa pupiro mwera mukati ntefe ashandi nomba na inena alanda kufimo chakalipa bale imita mukayilanda babiri mumukanye alelanda febe pene pamwera uko ali uko ale umfandela nde chibemba ale umfwe chibemba from Zambia abashire umfwe chibemba mwatiteko interpret mutsungu banshi bamwamba mwala itatu mukese ikala babiri imwe mwe wa mafero UPND members mulelando kubati ba PF makula for 1-1 ukukonga pali lungu efo twingekala muchalo efyo
abo bale batuka balungu na mumfa monse bale batuka na mwachwa
that's how much he was a threat
mkwai nangu mu parliament mwachumvu efo bachilanda bamayo bana lumango amashwita yawe mama kadas na wasenda na temu ati no is now a frozen fish chilabushikuba batuka fe na mumfwa ero bakateka bale bati bale fo kulanda na bamayo. But your followers are insulting the late president. They are insulting the family.
She must have relatives so no bakumuna mama yoba insta na beka fila pa mattress na chidi ba fe pala pene fie na yo milundu mufyalo mumbi awo kwena my emotions ya buntu mu Zambia ina tatukwete na chita generalize shire sonta pali wina uze tukwete he is a frozen fish
can you imagine
if inga ni frozen fish why should we kulete chitumbi chako mwise mushike
chila ushubule mutuka
frozen fish salule ni fe mulie chipuli
so bakasonso babebera ati mumwipeye
kuchibambe obuloshi batule anda mashui ashire langa ku ashire paranika umutima obi okutira na ukataka obulanda nga umuntu ufeta umutemenwe walinga fe kuika lokutali uko batule ne walalangisha kita umutemenwe balala kwe bafati wendoshi namba tulila pembelele cha musango yo chalinga fe watala potondolo mukumana kwandi kumuchibemba file balanda ati kwati nabo basungwila ichibi or a spell has been cast on them.
Yeah.
So no balela ndefe tabeshi bokti findela ndatefyo. Chino fena fafide wa mayoba mtaribala ndidati imita ufole. Nisi a few months ago, Mayoba to winga wama now, she wanga mukashana gamulumendo. But bad if we win a ba Reverend Lumango, na Lumango, but Tatabene, Mayoba na Reverend Vice President, white. It's like renewing their wedding vows. Barufio Mwana. 3-4 months after that, when I mean a cumulo la wachalo, at Yimitofole, Ukweba Mwana to Bambia to Bale for Babiama single mothers. If I chinga besho, we were fashing we want to Bakwale, someone to Ngurushi.
Mayo, thank you very much. A lot of wisdom from. Thank you for the advice.
Is enough. Internet technology na yendelela.
Kukubana pa Zoom meeting.
Anything.
Mkwai.
Okay, kama kishwela pachipuna mkeka lefu bakaya dika pomkala imapo amano na yapo.
Mkwai.
Ilo mwaisa mkulanda fimbi wonsa bantu wala papisha ni mwamba ulia. Ao mwandi nuku alinsokete kwa fide bantu. Don't go there. Ne wendu mesu lewe teba mwamba uwika kwa kisha kukubita. Aku umulanda fena upamwela chapu. You can't be talking to us like that. We have emotions. Don't even be cheated that UPND will be forever. No ways. No ways. Yeah, now but a limit. Parties come and go. How old are you? Were you there when by Keke Muchalu?
Yo, Mayo, thank you very much. Kaputa, we give you a lot of time and thank you for your wisdom. Thank you. I'll be taking a few last calls. Mwantu wakwalesa. Ichpelenkula chila to shine. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Iyo twawomba mulishani.
Awa tuze wino abani ba dating kunka abaishu kwa peshina ya different MP pakabwapa.
Okay, Teddy from Kaweb, make your contributions.
I'm quite. I think in epende kulanda kukatushanga mlengu.
Yes, we can.
Epende kulanda ko. Epende mwana sana ba UPND na batuingirira, especially for PF. Na batuingirira, you know, I was almost crying lero the time na someone tina bakanyaba ICZ regard ya kumfuwe kwa PF. Now the question we are having is, which kulia candidate wali kulia MP wali kulia wali watch panish MP wa PF ya Maureen Mawonga. You see, it's very unfortunate that by UPND now send the Chalwat in Panganda, which is very sad. So this kind of leadership is not right, and we should speak against this kind of leadership in Zambia wa Mwamba. And my prayer is to the leaders of PF, we need to be intact. Otherwise background, but if you know what we are looking for, and I'm urging those who are going to campaign, and I would like also to be there, if it will be possible. I would like also to be there, and those people who be PF, because we are in alliance with NCP. So, no one should deter us to say, campaign using party. We should if you. If you're under party PF to say, and alliance, you are not supposed to use a certain party. We need to know, because certain things, dictatorship, if you want to become a dictator, Asia Panono, like the way we are seeing, Akainde Chilema has taken this country for granted, and giving him a time to take Nico, Yamaneka new opportunity, Manja Kuchitami street avan. As I'm talking to you here in Kawa, we don't have electricity where I stay. From morning up to now, we don't have. This is 23. We don't have electricity. How do those people are doing business? How are they going to sustain their lives? Bamwamba. It's very unfortunate. Iyo balungwe po babatukira insta babatukana fye balungwe po bafuira ero bara batontulu babatukana fye ba UPND. See what happened here. Billboard ya balungwirya. It was not a campaign billboard. See how the car does. They are coming out. The way on our billboard. Mukabo muno. It's very unfortunate. Today we were contributing to my radio stations. Where car does my blog we are tukana Garungu, no kulande fivi, and then no kulande fivi by Patrick Shala. Is this the way we should live in our country? Threatening your mayor. You see, and he is the one who is putting those billboards. Kula tukana time after time, kula tukana fiwa mayor threaten like your mayor in Kawe tabarewomba na mutende. Life ya otairi wino because everyone is threatening. Amaka does. They can go back and do anything they want. Is this the way we should live? It depends me. I'm a youth, and it depends me. When we see, yesterday I reported the same case to police on our billboard. What did the police say? Statement. We have been reported, even those who were insulting, may I reported that case. Up to now, look, just we police to tell me to go and report your house. Is this the way we should live, your mamba? It's very unfortunate. Anyway, it depends me.
Thank
I'm
you.
ready to die for this country.
Thank you, Teddy. Thank you, Teddy. You're the second person who's saying you are ready to die for this country. Sishua said the same words. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening, Wamamba.
Good evening.
My mentor, Michael Zephania Piri here.
Mr. Piri, make your contribution, my brother.
Yes, I want to make a contribution that Bali issue of President Edgar Chagwalungu. One month, I think it's now almost 7 days. But what we are seeing is that both the Avalungu, it's now haunting people here in Zambia. Because even in Parliament, simple question. Today I was very even frustrated when I heard Mayoana Rumango saying that we defeated him and want us to defeat him in his death when they have failed to bury him for 1 month. So you can see that the spirit of Edgar Lungu is very much alive, and no one is going to bury it as long as they are not coming back to their senses. Because the entire cabinet, they are so obsessed with this funeral, and they are so obsessed without even having that remorse to say we are still mourning. Even when the president said that when he was talking to Ambassador Michael Gozeres, he was saying that he has been mourning. You know, Zambians were shocked to see that the president is mourning, but he's the one who cancelled the national mourning. So how does he mourn in secrecy? When he said we must return to normalcy, and we have returned to normalcy, but in the real sense, there's normalcy, there's abnormality. So in this country, I am appealing to President Againde Hichilema and his cabinet ministers. They should sit down as cabinet to ensure that this burial of President Edgar Chagwalungu, they should stay away, let it be buried the way it's supposed to be buried, then this country will come to normalcy. As long as the body of the late President Edgar Lungu is not buried, there will be a lot of issues which will be happening. Look at what is happening. The president is on record again. He said, under his rule, no one is going to die with a bullet. Look at the Mfumbwe massacre. It's under his watch. He's under his watch, and he has kept quiet. He has only spoken very little, as if nothing happened. But if it were PF and Edgar Lungu was the president, he would have stood on a mountain, condemning, speaking, going to all internationals to claim that this government is brutal, like the way our minister, Home Affairs Minister, Jack Mwimbo. Surely, how can you come out in a simple question, which is supposed, but they have to bring the name of the late President Edgar Chagwalungu.
Yeah.
But President Edgar Chagwalungu,
Zephaniah, let me take some other calls. Let me take some other calls. We need to wind up. And thank you for your contribution, Zephaniah. And I hope you follow it up with an article.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, let's take some last calls. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Thank you very much. Good evening, Ambassador Mwamba.
Good evening.
I prefer to remain anonymous.
Anonymous, make it brief. I want to take the last few calls.
Okay, thank you. Mwamba, for me, I think my comment will be on the burial of our late president, former president. I'll begin by a quote from Simon Sinek, which says, bad leaders believe that they have to project control at all times. So it is very saddening that, we have to go through this issue because starting in the first instance, that body was supposed to come and be buried here in Zambia. And it was at the day that body was supposed to be repatriated here that the government brought a different program, different from what was agreed between the government and the family.
Yes.
And I've seen people all over social media blaming the Lungu family when the body was supposed to come on that very day. There was agreements and which the government went against that.
Yeah.
So it is not like the Lungu family do not want to bury that body in this country. They had agreed to that, but there were terms and conditions. Because for me, Mamamba, if somebody says they don't want me to come to a funeral, I should respect that. It's for the family. Nishi na lafuaila ukuchita control ichintu chile. It is the wish of the family, because I should preserve my dignity as well and say, okay, tabalefuaya kulia family shaeko. But even as a state president, the same way that he sent representatives to the previous national duties that were happening, national events, he would have simply sent somebody there. Respect the wishes of the family and preserve the dignity that you own as the incumbent president. Okay?
Yeah.
So right now, it's forcing and fighting. But this thing, the wishes of the family have to be respected. Because, Mamwamba, we are not going to start looking at because the PFH so bakaunda bashan. No. Yes. But when you come in as an incumbent president, you're trying to change the narrative. Yes, but you would want to make things better so that even as we move forward, things like that should never happen again.
Yeah. My brother, thank you very much for that call. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Everyone has been asking that question. Thank you. Everyone has been asking that question. Yeah. My dear brother, are you back again?
Yes, Mamwamba. You know, I'm a person who's very straight. When I said we should sit together, I did not say you come to UK. No. Let's put there is internet nowadays. I did not say I want to kill you. I'm not a person to kill someone.
Don't worry, my brother. I'll call you. I'll call you. I'll call.
I listened you talking to Miti, Lola Miti. Very good conversation. That's what I was talking about. Not me kidding you. Why should I kill you, so?
Thank you, my brother. Don't worry. Be a regular caller on issues. Don't worry. Thank you very much. Good evening. Please tell us your name and your please make your contributions.
Good evening, Honorable Mwamba.
Good evening.
Ambassador Mwamba. Yeah.
Good evening.
My name is Kawongo. I'm calling from Kashogwe.
Yes.
Just across Wapula and Lake Muiru on the other side.
Thank you very much.
Yes, we are in the DRC led by Moses Katumbi. I just wanted to, the issues that concern Zambians, they even concern neighboring countries.
True.
I think if we have seen whatever is going on, the heads of states surrounding our country, I think they are affected as well, because in a long period of time, I've never seen heads of state shunning to come to trade fair or just even a sort of visitation. I haven't seen any head of state who volunteered to attend the funeral in Zambia. No. It's just hitting. All I can just say is would like to appeal to President Hakainde to control this city. He's got advisors.
Yeah.
Now over Hakainde bafumakubantu. Tetwanje bebakainde bakwatifi weri fyalabi bamanwa ya chabe no bali kwata abakalamba. Abakalamba, they can tell them kwena let's do this. Let's do this. If you can see, when the former president died, it started like a small yo-yo playing game. If you can see what is happening, Zambia, accidents, all these things that we are seeing, it's because once we bury and we settle all these things, we won't have a lot of tantrums around in our country. The other thing is, I think Kulubemba Mwamba Mafuma Kulubemba. Takwa na mayo umukalamba. Na mayo umukalamba uliwa kufunda bana mayo ababalisa nomba. Useko munangwe ngari pachidiro. If you balanda fidya na chumfu ati frozen fish. Shekuti eba fide nangwa pusane fya shani. Eba fide balwe bana kumta nchukula tumama phone kwena mayo mukire shani. Ngefi. I don't know where the Zambian culture has gone to. Umwana ndufa politics ayi fya one game. Ngala iverapo mkamfuiro muneno ati the frozen fish are umvano kumfa. That's not the way we should lead our country. Ndabe misepera bareisa. Ndaba kesa pita kwisa. Oto tukwatire no to anotu no utwa 10 years. Utoto ya mgula fulu wamba. It's because mipambe hii ineleza mchalo chesu. This is not the way we are supposed to lead our country. Ushie. Ichichi ne chitumbi cha kuwata bantu baikala panchi bamfane. Tento twala chitefu. Iyo kwena twelele nko. Iyo chitengo tuchetekireni. Ichishupire chinshi chikalamba. Elio chimbiwa mwamba na alafu ayo kumibako. Before hii program ya mwalimu government kwali program imwe ya shupire sana. Iya kweti abantu babiri abashupire ati ivi bakwetu. ivi vakwetu umuntu ungatumanga wa PF avasusha vari muputula pamwamba tampeni kuputula vonse avo varesusha tatureva fwaya vantu apaturanda programu yenu yambire ngakanunu unomba chaya chirekulango nge chiviri chamuriro ava vonse avareisa mukuresusha nangu kulatarika nafindushkwete mwamano mure vaputula fe vamwamba.
Thank you for the advice, my brother. Thank you very much. Thank you. At Murikwisa kuchishobwe. At Murikwi? Kwakashobwe. I'll cross Chinchelenge into DRC. Yole samipale bane. Yo nali PS ku Northern Province so kwakaputa kulia konza nali kuishiwa. Thank you bane. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
From Australia. I want to make a very short contribution, or
Yes,
rather,
sir.
it's a question. Lipusho. Aba bantu aba napapita emirungu nangu 5 kufumapo batushire balungu or something like that. Nomba uli omusebo balera ndapo balefo kuchitama roadworks wakuya kulepa kuchifwemu ushekuli uwinga twewa nga balirungisha because balera ndati ni 5 days bakesara nomba napapita emirungu balera ndati balefo kuisale omusebo sota bakulaya kuli ebushetani fyama cryptomaniacs limbi balirungisha nga kulia abekala kulia kutwatoa taba baliyitala bakitama roadworks balalanda bamwe mubaliranda po vice president balanda po ma roadworks so ushe balirungisha nangu buffe balebepa.
Natasha Bakafwibi, Natasha had a very powerful question. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Hello. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Anonymous, I called in earlier on.
Oh, yes, Anonymous, you brought a wonderful issue of sovereign fund, sovereign wealth fund, and I think you spoke very well about the role of the state to, plan for the future.
Yes. Thank you very much. Bamwamba, I would like to speak to you now. I would like to address you.
Yes, thank you.
Reference to the previous, not this caller, but the earlier caller before him, who advised you to be cutting off the callers from the UPND. Bamwamba, I don't know you. I've only met you once. You are such an honorable man and very lovely to speak with, and you are a very knowledgeable man. You have intambi, mwadi sambilila. You have a lot of experience that majority of us would only admire and hope, but you've lived a dream. You have served under the late Bachilova, and you have served in the previous government as well. You have related, you have traveled, you are exposed, you've got a lovely family, you are a grandfather. You have also shown us interest in aspiring to run for this country, Zambia. Now, this is to you, Mamwamba. Many of us are calling in. We might not be politicians, but it's because there's wisdom. We might not be partisan, and yet there are some people that are partisan. But my advice to you, what you see wrong today, I will address you as my big brother, because I walk in your steps, some of your steps. Be different for your grandchildren, because your children you've already planted. You've got a grandchild that you have spoken, that you have introduced to us. What do you want for him? What do you stand for? They know you in your home. But us who don't know your household, how do you want your grandchild to know you? Be different. Let this platform be an example of of leadership. I know you are PF inside and out, but I'm begging you, what is wrong, call it out. And what is right, call it out. Yes, there will be people that will trigger you, but I'm just begging you to be different. Be that only brother who will, yes, he belongs to the Patriotic Front. Some people, they don't like the Patriotic Front. But yes, just be different. Because why? Because you are doing it for Zambia and for your grandchild. And there are so many grandchildren that you've never met, but they will live with what you're going to plant today. So I'm only asking you, you walk with God, you play this gospel music. So I would like to believe that you're such a lovely man and you've got such a beautiful wife. So with all this toxicity that we come with all the baggages, we've got so many burning issues and we want to find refuge in you. We must never use you to settle our scores because we are desperate. We want a better life. Zambia has failed us. Our leaders have failed us. We must never come to you and plant a seed of division in this country. Be different. Be the hope that we want. Let me be your running mate or be a running mate to somebody else or be the president for Zambia. Be the person that we want. Talk to the president if you must. Regardless of all that has been talked about. But I'm just sick and tired of us every time. If we condemn the PF, the UPND is doing it today. You just showed us it was so hurtful to see. And that video of people singing and, all sorts of things that it's like we are a mad house, a mad country. That we don't have values where we come from. What type of homes? Is it so chaotic that I mean, how can we be so careless behind this keyboard? Yeah. Where did we take all this lunacy when there was no social media? And why must we use you? Bamwamba, all this you have worked, and me, I should come and influence you to come and start hating fellow Zambians. So, so bamwamba nga president. Mukabafe ba president baba PF. If ba PF baba batamfye nchito, tumfatu ba PF bali batamfye nchito. So imunga mwaisa baba president bamwamba. Nishu bali abali muyupendi na umkesa batamfya. No many issue. Where is the unity are we talking about? Where is the love, my brother? Why have we become so different? You, of all people, you even said it last week or the other week. You said, I am married to a lousy woman. Bamonde. Nambabana benu imwe, bamwamba. Ineba tatani bakalubali. Bamaye bakuchipata. Bakantwala kwi, bazambi. Ngabana benu imwe bamwamba, tukabatwala kwi. No bamwamba. I need to hear from you, Bamwamba, because this is wisdom. You must say it and say, no, I'm not going to divide my country.
Wonderful, my dear.
To believe every word, Bamwamba. Tomorrow you come, you pay 200,000 for your candidature. I will be the one to campaign you. To say you never said it when people were coercing you to divide Zambia and you agreed on your platform. Yeah. This is wisdom. This is good for Zambia. Be different.
Thank you, my dear sister.
You built it. This is something we have come. But here we are. Now we want to coerce you to being a bad seed. No, brother. Say no. And say it on air so we can hear that you're not part of it. Thank you so much, Mama.
Thank you very much, my dear sister.
Continue doing what you're doing. And thank you, Mama, for allowing us to speak with your husband and your family as well. So if, Mama, you want the presidency, show it now. Thank you so much.
I like that gun point. But she has a lot of wisdom. Maybe let me address my before... I think the person who suggested what she's annoyed about is calling back. Let me see if it's the same one or it's another. But I'll speak to you, my dear sister. You brought something very important. Moment to call, so we need to wind up and I need to give my last remarks. Good evening. Please tell us your name and your where you're calling us from.
Mr.
Mamba, a quick one. I'm the guy from Kashogwe. I
Yes.
wanted to respond to Bamayo.
Mwande terela Bakashogwe.
They can still respond to Wangu so that before Tamlaisa, that's why we settle this matter once and for all.
Okay.
Number one, Bamwamba Kwalipa program, I think, was it 2 weeks ago? Kwaliwa Shile Detefia Mpundu, and you came out so strongly. Mafista call out. We are not influencing you to cut to a UPND. There are a lot of UPND guys who are sensible about Tuma.
Yeah.
The problem is when you have a certain UPND guy who's going to come and attack abantu abali Russia, if you play gun, because bachanda palutambi, utambi lwesuna mwapusana shani na abantu. Tatuya mkuseka pachidiro, tatuya mkulushe filere pachidiro, tatuya mkuwapanga bali ya abantu wabulanda, tatuya mkukosele shanya. That's how we Zambians are. I didn't say no. No, we've got a lot of intelligent UPND guys about Tumapa and they sympathize now with PF. I am not PF. Therefore, I am not UPND. To make the matters worse, ine entitombombanga na isiranda kapa. Ni ile ya kuleta abantu pamo. Andi chimbi. Balabene bashukuru baaka inde badya. Umwana wandine. Muipwa wabo. Mukashi wandi. Waiche wabo. Nobody knows that. If to amonefia bipa, to feed it to Alan that I went up. Get to be my phone go community house no. But you have opened the platform, but to the division of Yabi, that you wear me to Reluva. So, in short, no one is bringing tribalism here. No one will patu. We are not dividing the country. The only thing we are trying to divide the chaff from the cream. Mamona. If you have you pay for the sticker, if you are going to the sticker Mozambique, for that what I want up. Now, push our Mambaquena,
yes, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I think okay. You are very lucky. You are the last caller. Last caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
I don't know if it's good evening that side, but in Zambia, good evening.
Yes, please. You are the last caller. You are very privileged.
John. Yeah, actually, just wanted to echo the voice from my sister who called me into this area. I think those are very, very wise and important ways and advice to you. Mwamba, we like you. You have been top of this, and you have shown this that. I think what is important is, like what you mentioned, for you to unite everyone of us in whatever issues that we are facing. Then, quickly, I can just say, on the issue of the death of our beloved president, I can just say that the fact that we have lost, but at the end of the day, what we need to understand, including even our government, the ultimate owners of that body is the family. So the government can, even then, by trying by all means to talk to the family in a nice way. You know what to understand is that so you cannot just see the confrontation with the family because at the end of the day, it's the family who has lost the father and also the so we need to reach the point where as they can sit down and also do things in a right way. But otherwise, what I can say is that we need to be unified as well.
Thank you very much.
I can say a lot. I just make you one as you can promote Nepal.
I've seen the way you have been so consistent when it comes to the issues of governance. Thank you so much, Wamwamba.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so that was our last call. I apologize to all those that are calling. I'm so sorry. We have to wind up the program, and I'd like to thank Professor Jones Kasonso, who I started the program with, and he was with me until the last 30 minutes. He had another urgent matter to deal with, and I had to let him go. Today we're discussing very key issues. It's a pity that I have to roll over the issue of Dr. Sishua. Sishua is so prominent, so important that I have to discuss it maybe next week. We were unable to tackle it, but it's very important. But we did the issue of the late president. Mama Esther Lungu has responded to the Attorney General, who's demanding that the remains of the late president must be repatriated to Zambia. There's a very strong rebuttal, and she has put out all her concerns and all the issues that they are being persecuted in court. And she has said the issue of the body, the remains of the late president, is an issue for the family and the next of kin, as the law provides. And she's been very categorical in that rebuttal of the Attorney General, who thinks that President Lungu is a state property and must be repatriated to Zambia. We discussed Francis Kapwepwe. He remains unknown where his whereabouts are. He's feared dead, and there's been no other response other than the fear that he's dead. But we have at least now established the people around the factors, from the issue of the bride to be the fiancé, where an engagement took place at Kasama Urban Hotel, and to the abduction of Waimi on Monday, the 2nd June 2025. We've established all those facts, and that he was brought to Lusaka and detained at Lilai police station, where he went missing. The police and government still have a great opportunity to tell us where Waimi is. There were certain proposals that have been put up. Mufumbwe massacre. The trouble with the issue of Mufumbwe massacre is the dead are not known. The number of the dead are not known. And 2 days after the shooting, Mufumbwe Council issued a request for authority that they were going to bury 2 unidentified bodies in the next 14 days. We don't think that they are dealing with 2 bodies, and the law is very clear. You can only bury after 90 days. Why are they not giving an opportunity to family members to identify those that died? The Minister of Home Affairs, Honorable Jack Mwimbu, insists only 3 people died. But we've seen videos of 2 dead policemen. They have not mentioned them. We know that there's a grandson to the chief who has died. There are others that are now being identified have died, but government is adamant on a very little number of 2. We hear there was a pit that was working in shift, and there were people in the shift during the time the police were dispersing them, and they began to throw tear gas. Again, those people are feared dead. We propose that there should be a commission of inquiry, because what now government is engaged in is what is called a cover-up, where they want to hide the facts and they want the lie to stick as a truth, and so that no one is held responsible, no one is held culpable for the deaths that occurred in Mufumbwe. The minister was very disappointing. He went to great lengths to talk about people that died under PF. People are asking about the people that have died now. The United States country report on the practice of human rights, the latest one, is very categorical on the torture, on the beatings, and on the extrajudicial killings by the police. You have the United Nations Human Rights Commission latest report, which government tried to defend itself, that was presented at the United Nations in Belgium. And again, government has been identified, and the police have been named as, among other things, engaged in extrajudicial killings. Here we have the Mufumbwe massacre, and no one is telling us a true number. President Hakainde Hichilema can only absolve himself from these crimes if he set up a proper inquiry, and all the facts surrounding this matter are totally established. Who allowed the youths? If those tenements had licenses, who allowed the illegal mining? How come heavy-duty vehicles were taken there? How did the youths assemble? And the police were deployed many, many weeks before. Why were they charging? Why were they engaged in this corruption? And during the dispersal authority, when the final authority was given for dispersal, they confiscated gold and money from young people, gensets, and all those things. Who has taken them? All these facts cannot be established by the police, who are complicit in the murder and massacre that has occurred in Mufumbu. This can only be established by an independent body. On the issue of the Constitution, the President is adamant that Bill 7 is alive, contrary to the ruling of the Constitutional Court, and the conduct of Madam Nelly Muti in Parliament is also abhorrent. I wish that someone could take an action to have her literally arrested. You cannot disregard the issue of the Constitutional Court. She had done this before. She's a repeater offender. Because she had refused that members of Parliament, 9 of them, that lost seats and appealed. She said they don't belong to that Parliament, and she proceeded to literally declare those seats vacant. It had to take the Constitutional Court to order her that she had read the law wrongly, and she was ordered to reinstate the 9. The 9 were back in Parliament. They've been in Parliament since then. So what has changed? Where can she respect the orders of the court? The procedures and standing orders she's telling us are neither near here nor there. They've been overtaken by a ruling of the Constitutional Court, the apex of our country. Let me address my dear sister, and I'll be very earnest, my dear sister. Earlier in the day, in this conversation, a gentleman called Trevor Smumba called, and I hope Trevor is listening because I haven't sought his authority, but I will speak to it because it's a public matter. Trevor mentioned that Emmanuel and I have been on different aisle of our political divides. He'll be in this camp, I'll be in the other camp. But there's something he said that, look, we've consistently kept our relationship. And that's who Emmanuel Mwamba is. It doesn't matter where you are. If we are pursuing an issue, I will engage you. It doesn't matter whether I'll be misunderstood. It doesn't matter whether I'll be judged. In fact, I've been judged wrongly several times. Trevor Smumba literally caused earth trauma in Zambia and in Africa when, together with the Center for Policy and Development, CTPD, issued a document called He Who Pays the Piper, Zambia's Growing China Debt Crisis. This was in 2018. That report caused the narrative in Africa that China was yoking Zambia and many African states to unsustainable debt. You remember that debate. Before long, the debate was on CNN, was on BBC. The fire came from Trevor Smumba. I had an issue with the report. He was on the other side. I was ambassador in South Africa, I think, before I went to Ethiopia. And I called him. I said, Trevor, wonderful report, detailed and well-researched, but your figures are wrong. I don't think that our debt with China is around $15 to $20 billion, as you are putting it. And I said, Trevor, what you have done is you've listed every project that has been announced. Most of those loans have not been obtained, they have not been listed, they've not been approved. But we kept on engaging, and there's something I did with my government. I called the Minister of Finance. I said, Trevor is an international economist, he's an international researcher. You might not like the report he has issued, but he's credible and he'll be quoted by international media. And this report will not only become truth, even if the facts are not correct, it will injure the president's election in 2021, because I see that the debt issue is going to be a huge debate. I was dismissed, literally, my views were dismissed. Look, these are just social media reports. It was just a press conference. No one went to the CTPT report by Trevor Smumba and debunk what he had stated. He had a point. Yes, our biggest debt was with China. He was right, but the figures were grossly exaggerated, and that was my point. And I am not an authority on financial matters. I'm not Minister of Finance. Even if I had written a paper and said, Trevor, you're not right on this matter, it would just be dismissed, because Trevor is an economist. Is a researcher, and he has a broad CV where he has worked with local and international organizations. It required us as government, our authorities, to respond to him. They didn't respond. The debt issue became a huge crisis. Of course, looking back, you've seen, in fact, at that time we're even privileged. The World Bank and IMF had just conducted a debt analysis. And I said, you publish that, because there's no better authority than the debt profile that the IMF and World Bank have compiled together with you. I'm saying this because I've seen similar people dismissing what Sishua, this is what I wanted to discuss, what Sishua has written, and exposing the president's dictatorship. And they said, Mulabeni Sishua is just bitter. Look, he wasn't given a job. They're calling him names. You don't do that. You go to the facts and respond to the facts. The point, my sister, is for me, I pursue issues. I don't pursue personalities. I keep friendship. If people wish to maintain my friendship, if the people wish to misunderstand me, I allow it. But I pursue issues and I maintain. The politics of our country are very toxic. By merely me being seen with another person, they can say you are UPND. You can even lose a job because we're having a cup of tea with a PF official at Intercontinental. They will say, no, he's leaking information. So our environment remains toxic. Some of us are in that environment to try to clean up, not to build the toxicity. You asked a very fundamental question, and I'll take time to answer you. You said, what do you want for your country? What do you want for your grandchildren? I think, personally, that the last 60 years have been a missed opportunity. We have great opportunities to have made our country literally one of the best countries in Africa. Our economy should not stand at a pottery GDP of 26 billion. I think we should be in excess of $200-300 billion. Looking at the wealth our country has in mineral resource endowment, the land opportunity that we have, and our central location, I think that if we exploited the opportunity, for example, to grow for food, I've always said, Ukraine is a small country, but it could feed the world. What about Zambia? Zambia has capacity to feed the entire Africa. That is a capacity we have. Why do we plan to grow maize for 20 million people? We are even very excited by poultry figures of 3 to 4 million metric tons of bumper harvest. We even call them record harvest. We are surrounded by 400 million people around us. Why don't we plan for 400 million people around us and grow food for them, maize, wheat, and provide that opportunity? What we miss, like Patrick from the United Kingdom said, is leadership. You get a leadership that's preoccupied with destroying political opponents. President Hakainde Hichilema, like many of his predecessors, they take a lot of time planning and plotting against people who said what against them. That's why even a fly like Waimi can be killed, because they're offended by things they should not be offended. I've been on social media since 2007. I'm insulted. They call me names. They make allegations against me. Things that are not true, things that I've never done in my entire life. My life is an open book, but they condemn me. But I've never left social media. I just continue to tell my story, hoping that one day someone will hear my story. My platforms, whether it was a brief, whether it is a conversation podcast, whether it is this platform, have always been neutral. You know I am Patriotic Front. I hold a position in the Patriotic Front. But I sat across Laura Mitty, who's toxic to the late president, who insults the late president. She has legitimate issues, but in most cases, but I sat with her across and I wanted to understand her. And that's one of the best podcasts I've ever had with Laura Miti. Because I delved beyond the insults, beyond the petty issues that can annoy you. The life of Laura Miti was told. And I don't think that there is any other broadcast Laura Miti has done other than that 3 hours I sat with her. If she died today, people will rush to that podcast because she poured out her heart. We knew her life, how she was born, where she was born, her life in Chilanga, what fashioned her, what made her, and a perspective about our country. Although she was very biased against the late president. Who was my boss? Who was my president? She sat with me for 3 hours. And I even aired the program. And I was grossly misunderstood by my members in the Patriotic Front that I was giving a platform to an opposition figure. Why did President Michael Sata fire me? If you remember, it was on TV. He accused me that I'd given 5 TV licenses, which I did. And he said I'd given it to the opposition, that I'd given nationwide radio license to Radio Phoenix. And he said that infrastructure belongs to UPND. It belongs to Hakainde Hichilema. Why have you given them a nationwide license? I was fired for doing a good deed. As a journalist, I wanted to expand media space in my country. And when I had the opportunity to be permanent secretary, I gave on one go 26 licenses. And for the first time, I gave nationwide license, something for people that would watch President Michael Sata in opposition. I'd frequently promised, Radio Phoenix, it's a small thing, like a small toilet, but you have impact. So in case I pela license, mukalalanda kwa kaputa, kulundazi. I took it literally that my views and the vision of the president aligned, and I didn't find anything wrong with giving a radio license to Radio Phoenix. But I was fired for doing a good job, something I've never regretted. But who am I? What should I align myself with? Like I said, when you belong to an organization, there are parameters, standards that you have to adhere to. One of the criticisms, my sister, that I receive is that, Emmanuel, things were going wrong. Why didn't you say? Why didn't you speak? Why didn't you condemn them? I think that arises out of ignorance. If I'm an ambassador in South Africa, my duty is to South Africa, to Zambia in South Africa. Have you seen your Chibamba Kanyama here in the United States condemn his president in Zambia? That, Mr. President, you are abusing human rights. I've got a report here. You are conducting torture. Mr. President, there's corruption in your government. Can Chibamba Kanyama, as an ambassador here at in the United States, say that? He totally will be out of step. He has a job. He has to represent Zambia here in the United States, and he has to do his job. Because the president, sometimes we just speak out of ignorance. The president has a structure. The president has, first of all, primary, his cabinet minister. That's his first advisory board. Then he has those presidential advisors around him. Then he has another second layer of advisors who are his permanent secretaries, who run, government on his behalf and implement the policies with his cabinet ministers. The ministers meet the president once every week in that cabinet meeting. If I was a minister, probably I would have raised those issues. There are many times, even from the capital in Pretoria or Addis Ababa, I would pick a call and speak to my colleagues about things I felt could have been done better. But I was limited. My role was limited. In fact, some would even ridicule me. Why do you worry about things happening in our country? So a president has his advisors, he has his ministers who he meets, and if the president is failing, we say in statecraft, a president is as good as his aides. If his aides are failing him, it's his duty to change them, make it better. You can't blame Filamulanda Tao, the people around the president are the ones that are bad, the president is good. No, he appoints them. If they're failing, he should remove them, change them. And if he doesn't, then he's a reflection of his own advisors. That is who he wishes to be. So I believe in a better Zambia. I believe in a Zambia, that exploits its resources to the benefit of its people. What is currently happening is not ideal for our country, and it will not take us anywhere unless we fundamentally change what is currently happening. So my dear sister, thank you very much for that question. And we can dedicate time. You can go to my project 2026 and beyond. I've distilled some of my thoughts on what can be done better for our country. So God bless you, God bless our country, and shalom, shalom.